History financial capacities about Enron scandal case. History. Enron has considered one of the most innovative companies in the US, especially energy trending. Under the leadership of CEO Jeffrey Skillings and Chairman Kenneth Lay, Enron expanded aggressively from the traditional energy supply into global markets and pioneered the use of the complex financial product like derivative and energy future. By the late 1990s, Enron has hailed as a Wall Street darling in the event ranked as American most innovative company by future of 6 consecutive years. Financial fatalities before collapse at its peak in 2000, Enron reported revenue of over $100 billion. Its stock price once reached $90.75 per share. Enron has the 7 largest companies in the US by revenue. Thousands of employees and investors trusted in Enron financial strength. However, these numbers were largely fabricated through of the balance sheet entities or SPE, market-to-market accounting, which allowed Enron to book potential future profits as current earnings. Massive commitment of debt and loss. Collapse in scandal 2001. In late 2001, investigation revealed with the speed accounting fraud, Enron true financial situation has exposed, leading to bankrupt in December 2001. At the time, the largest in US history. Loss of thousands of jobs, retirement and savings, collapse of adopting firms author Andres, which has a conflict sent in the fraud. Major refund including the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 on improving corporation accountability.
The Enron scandal, one of the largest accounting scandals in U.S. history, involved the fraudulent activities of Enron Corporation and American Energy, Commodities and Services Company. At its peak, Enron boasted over $60 billion assets and employment approximately 29,000 people, and its collapse in 2001 resulted in one of the largest bankruptcy filing in U.S. history, causing significantly financial losses for investors and employees. Enron's product and services initially focused on natural gas. Enron's aggressively expanded into various energy-related trading, including electricity, natural gas, and other commodities like paper, steel, and even weather derivatives. They were also ventured into broadband communication. The verification, while seemingly innovative, masked underlying financial instability and unethical practices. Enron's financial size and collapse. At its peak, Enron's assets exceed $60 billion. However, this figure must sustain debt and losses concealed through complex accounting maneuvers and the use of special purpose entails. The company's stock price, once trading at over $90 per share, plummeted to less than $1 before the bankruptcy filing in December 2001. The bankruptcy was the time of the largest in U.S. history. Financial size and liabilities. At the time of its bankruptcy filing on December 2, 2001, Enron's assets were valued at approximately $63.4 billion, making it the largest corporate bankruptcy in U.S. history at this time. The company liabilities, including outstanding debts and guaranteed loans, were estimated to be around $23 billion. The scandal resulted in a struggling of $74 billion loss for stockholders and $63 billion to own creditors, employees, and limited shareholders. Enron's collapse was a result of whispered accounting fraud, including mark-to-market accounting misuse, debt hiding through special purpose entities, and financial statement manipulation. The scandal led to the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 aimed at improving corporate governance and financial reporting. Many executives were convicted of fraud.
Identify which among the 20 business cases are utilized in your case analysis and why. Number 1 po is yung brand strategy. Yung Enron, nag-build sila ng strong or powerful brand image as an innovative company. The brand, yung brand na Enron is nag-help siya makaka-attract ng talents, investment, and partnership. Then, isa po sa mga nakita kong na-utilize nila yung mga downsizing. Yung sa downsizing naman, nangyari po ito not because they want it, but ito po yung result ng pagka-collapse nila. So, bakit ko nasabi na na-utilize yung downsizing? Kasi po, libu-libong empleyado po yung nawalan ng trabaho. Then, dahil nga sa pagka-bankrupt ng Enron, and also yung nawala yung mga savings and yung mga retirement savings ng mga tao. And also, nagkaroon din po ng social impact sa pag-collapse ng Enron. Since yung Enron is popular, once na nabalitaan ng mga tao na nag-collapse yung Enron is nagkaroon agad po ng negative social impact. Nawala yung public trust sa mga corporation and sa mga financial institution.
So what are the main problems of Encon before their downfall? The Encon company has 5 main problems before their downfall. The first is they fake profits. The company used the tricky accounting method, also called the mark-to-market, to record profits that didn't actually exist yet. Second is they hide their debts. So the company faked their partnership to hide huge debt to make the company look financially healthy. Third main reason is they have no transparency. Their financial reports were confusing and misleading to hide the real situations from the investors. The fourth main problem is their weak leadership. So the executives make greedy and unethical decisions, and the board and the auditors fail to stop them. The fifth and final main problem is they lost their trust. So once the truth come out, the investors lost their trust, and the Encon company's stocks crashed quickly. So that was the 5 main problems the Encon company encountered before their downfall.
Question number 4. What financial data and financial statements were used to decide for the downfall of Enron? The first one is the income statements. So income statement reflects a company's income, expenses, and final profit. So Enron applied mark-to-market accounting, allowing them to count expected future earnings as if they had already been earned, which led to an artificial increase in reported profits. So the second one is the balance sheet. It shows company's assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity. So Enron used special purpose entities to keep certain debts of its official records. So this created a misleading image of financial health, making the company appear more stable and successful than it truly was. So the third one is the flow statement. So it shows how cash is generated and spent through operating, investing, and financing activities. So Enron wrongly reported borrowed money or the financing cash flow as cash generated from operations, giving a false impression of strong business performance.
So, question number 5, what was the financial status of the company Enron before its downfall? So, before its infamous collapses or downfall in late 2001, Enron Corporation was considered one of the most powerful and innovative companies in the United States. So, here are some detailed look of its financial status and position before its downfall. So, first po is yung rapid growth and market perception. So, Si Enron was once ranked daw po as the 7th largest company in the US by its revenue. So from late 1990s daw po until 2000, yung stock price daw nila po ay nag-skyrocket, meaning po tumaas. So noong August 2000, umabot ito ng $90.75 per share. So next po is yung reported revenues ni Enron. So ito po yung kanilang kita or revenues kada taon before sila nag-collapse or nagkaroon ng downfall. So, it start noong 1996, meron silang revenues na $13.3 billion. Noong 1997, tumaas ito ng $20.3 billion. 1998, $31.2 billion. 1999, $40.1 billion. And then noong 2000, umabot po ito ng over $100 billion. So most of this po is revenue increase attributed from the Enron expansion into energy trading and financial derivatives. So hindi po ito siya galing sa traditional energy production or utilities nila. And then next naman po is yung profitability nila. So si Enron daw po is consistent, ayon sa kanilang report, sila daw po is mayroong consistent profits. So, noong 2000, sinasabi nila na may net income sila na $979 million at may EPS or earning per share sila na $1.47. Kiniklaim din po nila na meron silang ROE or return on equity na lampas 30%, kaya mas na-attract nito yung investor na mag-invest sa kanila. And then next naman po is yung market capitalization. So, Enron market capitalization hit over $70 billion noong 2000. So investor believe na yung Enron Complex Financial Innovation daw ay merong asset-light model at gumagamit sila ng special purpose entities or SPES para makip yung utang or matago yung utang sa balance sheet nila. So, despite looking financially healthy outside or in the surface, Enron was highly leveraged. Ibig sabihin po, marami po silang tinatago na utang. So, they keep billions of dollars debt hidden using SPES like LGM and Chuco. So, itong mga partnership na to ang tumutulong sa kanila para hindi pakita yung totoong liabilities ng corporation. So, internally, yung mga executives, alam nila yung financial manipulation. So, manipulation na inflate yung profits at tinatago yung kanilang mga utang. So, may mga early signs na dapat naging wake-up call ng mga investor, analysts at regulators. Isa na dito yung mahinang cash flow ng operation ni Enron kahit naman mataas yung kanilang mga reported earnings. Parang may contradiction na kumikinta daw yung kumpanya pero bakit hindi sapat yung perang pumapasok. So bukod pa dito, sobrang komplikado at magulo yung kanilang financial statement kasi gumagamit sila ng special purpose entities or SPES para itago yung mga utang nila at i-overstate yung kanilang mga kita. So, because of this, hirap yung mga analysts at outsider na makita ano nga ba yung true financial health ng corporation. So, and then yung mas nakakatulkot pa dito, or kahit may mga ganitong red flags, pinirmahan pa rin ng auditor na si Arthur Andersen yung kanilang financial reports. So, isa ito sa malaking accounting firm, kaya marami ang naniwala na maayos ang lahat sa financial statement ni Enron. So, pati mga bangko at financial analysts patuloy na sumuporta kay Enron hanggang sa huli. So, in the end, when lumabas na yung katotohanan, so, nag-filed na for bankruptcy si Enron noong December 2001. So, dahil dito, thousands of employees lost their jobs and retirement savings. Shareholders saw their investment wipe out, and public trust in corporate governance was severely taken. So, this scandal led to significant regulatory reforms, including the passage of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, kung saan ini-aim nito yung improving ng corporate transparency and accountability.
Who were the main persons responsible for the downfall? Here are the main individuals responsible for Enron's downfall were high-ranking executives who orchestrated and concealed fraudulent practices for many years. First, Kenneth Lai, the founder and chairman. He oversaw the strategy which is taken by Skilling and Fastow. Second, Andrew Fastow, which is the chief financial officer, he created SPS to hide the debt and inflated earnings to enrich himself. The third one is Jeffrey Skilling, the CEO. He advocated the use of market-to-market accounting and enforced the unrealistic targets. And last one, Arthur Andersen LLP, the external auditor. He approved Enron's misleading financial statement despite numerous red flags to destroy the documents.
Good day everyone. Today we'll be discussing about the current status of the Enron's company. Well, there have been reports about the relaunch in December 2024 focusing on renewable energy and decentralized technology. It's crucial to understand that this appears to be satire. In reality, Enron's assets were liquidated and its remaining entity was dissolved in 2016. Therefore, to answer the question, Enron no longer operates as a business entity, and any current activity seems to be related to this satirical relaunch. Thank you.
If I was to hired by Enron before the scandal broke out, I would definitely recommend some key changes that prevents the company's downfall. First of all, I would advise the management to stop using unethical accounting practices, which they mainly use mark-to-market accounting and also special purpose entities or SPEs. Itong mark-to-market accounting, isa to siyang method na ginagamit ng company para sa kanilang recorded projected profits. Kumbaga, pinapakita dun as if na-earn na nila yung pera, pero hindi pa talaga siya nagmamanifest. And wala pang actual cash na na-receive. Kumbaga, tinatala nila yung mga pwede ng future na mangyari, pero hindi pa talaga nangyayari at this time. Sa ginagawa na ito, pinapakita na yung company parang mas profitable than it really is at that time. Ito ay nagkakause ng mislead para sa mga investor, especially kapag hindi talaga nagmanifest yung future profits na tinatala dito sa mark-to-market accounting. Yung isa naman na SPE or Special Purpose Entities, ito yung separate legal company na ginawa ng Enron. Ginagamit nila to para itago yung kanilang debt. So dito, nilalagay nila yung mga utang ng Enron dun sa SPEs at lumalabas na hindi siya kumbaga wala siya sa main accounting or financial reports ng company at nagbibigay ito at nag-create siya ng kumbaga illusion na maganda yung standing ng company. Instead siguro, kaysa gamitin yung mga bagay na ito, mas isasuggest ko sa company na gamitin yung transparent and conservative approach pagdating sa accounting para mapakita nila yung totoong financial status ng company at hindi lang gawin ito para maging impressive, kumbaga sa mata ng investor. And next, gusto ko rin magkaroon ng full disclosure ng liabilities. Ilalabas lahat ng utang ng company, kahit hindi siya maganda para sa image ng company, at least honest ka pagdating sa mga investor, kasi honesty still builds good long-term trust pagdating sa relationship na meron ka tsaka sa investors. And also, isa sa mga napansin ko dun sa Enron case is yung dapat talaga mahiwalay na auditing tsaka consulting services para walang conflict of interest. Kasi merong independent auditing committee, mapo-point out talaga nila yung mga mali dun sa accounting ng company, and hindi nila madadaya, kumbaga walang daya pagdating sa mga financial na reports na ilalabas sa mga investors and to the public as well. And pagdating naman po sa strategy, gusto ko na magkaroon ng mas strengthen yung corporate governance, kumbaga palakasin yung board of directors at siguraduhin itong independent members ay may kita na talagang ina-assess nila yung financial reports ng company at magtatanong sila pag may mga nakikita silang mali doon. Pangalawa, yung Ethics and Transparency Program. Pagdating sa Ethics and Transparency Program, I would highly suggest na magkaroon ng regular, kumbaga, ethics training pagdating sa company. Tsaka ngayon, kasi mostly ng companies, meron na silang tinatawag na parang safe whistleblower practices. Kumbaga, para sa mga tao na may napansing mali, mapuprotektahan sila kapag binigay nila or nagbigay sila ng mga hints pagdating sa mga anomalya na nakikita nila sa company. And next naman is, siguro, I would also ask the company na mag-focus back dun sa core ng business nila, which is yung energy talaga from the start, para hindi nila masyadong, kumbaga, dun sa mga sobrang komplikado tsaka risky na financial deals na in the end hindi naman kayang kontrolin. And the last thing is, siguro dapat magkaroon din po ng executive bonuses pagdating sa company, kasi mag-perform ito at magbibigay ito ng sa kanilang mga executives ng option na nag-earn pa, hindi lang just stocks. And also, kapag nangyari ito, mas makikita yung paano pa pinapahalagahan ng company yung kanilang mga empleyado and more on the benefit side. And also, kung ginawa man nila tong lahat ng strategies na ito in the long run, talagang I think mape-prevent yung pag-collapse ng company. And also, at the end of the day, I believe na yung honesty and accountability is yung real foundations of success pagdating sa isang company. Yun lamang po. Thank you.